Jumbo friends, my name is Carsden. I'll be on a safari guide for today. Before we head out onto the reserve, I'm going to ask you to remain seated. Your hands, arms, feet, legs inside the truck at all times. This is a real truck. I am really driving it, and it does get real bumpy out there, so again, just remain seated. Certainly on the way down. Something that's kind of fun is if y'all look up right now inside the truck here, we've got some animal spotting guides. It's kind of a fun tool for identifying what animals we might see out there on the reserve. Can't promise we'll see all the animals up there, but I think there's quite a good chance we'll see a good number. This first section of the reserve that we're going to make our way into in just a little bit is called the Little Ituri Forest. A lot of the animals in the forest are going to use camouflage to avoid predators. That camouflage usually takes the shape of a ton of stripes, so make sure we keep our eyes out for a bunch of stripes when we're here in the forest.
Yep.
Now out to our right, we can see our first animal already. Now that is an okapi. Oh, there's also a yellowback diker back there. It's a little smaller one. The yellowback dikers, they have a yellow streak on their back. And diker means diver. They're a little bit of a timid animal. They like to dive into the bushes. So. Yellowback diker. Now the okapi, it does look like it's wearing some zebra party pants. It's actually going to be related to the giraffe, not the zebra. Most definitely still has some party pants on. We know it's related to the giraffe because of its skull structure. It's got a very similar skull to the giraffe. You all know the little horns that giraffes have? Okay, they're actually called ossicones. They're not horns. These guys are still fully covered in skin. A rather large bird on our right as well. It's kind of behind one of the bushes here. Yeah, that's a saddle-billed stork. Saddle-billed storks are going to be about 5 feet tall when they're standing up all the way. They can have a wingspan of up to 9 feet wide as well, which for reference, the canopy above your head is about 9 feet wide. Now, saddle-billed storks, they are rather large birds, and they do build rather large nests. You can actually see one of those nests coming up on our right up the hill there. You can see it on top of the bushes. But got a couple more animals that we're coming up on. On our left, there's a rhino hanging out across the water. That's a black rhino laying down right there. Black rhinos weigh about 3,000 pounds. They're actually the smaller of the two types of rhinos that live here in Africa. Oh, there's two of them. They're actually they're very solitary animals. They like to hang out by themselves.
These are females.
The animals on our right, these are greater kudu. Only male greater kudus have horns. You know those were female. They don't got no horns. Looks like I got a couple of bongos up to our right as well.
Wow, there's a lot of them.
Now both male and female bongos have horns, so we know those were females because of their color. Like an orangey brown. Males are more just brown. A lot darker than the females. Got another saddle-billed stork out to our left. Well, you can tell female and male saddle-billed storks apart by looking at their eye. Their eye colors can be different. So males have a really dark brown eye color, and then females have more of a lighter yellow eye color. Looks like we're leaving the Little Ituri Forest now, which means we have embarked on our very long and perilous journey over to the Safi River. Alright folks, that does conclude our journey to the river. The first animal that I can see here is the pink-backed pelican, which is the white and gray bird on our right. The pink-backed pelican, as the name suggests, has a pink coloration on its back. It's kind of like underneath its feathers though, so it's a little hard to see. But that pink coloration gets a lot more vibrant during the mating season. Helps them find a potential mate. Out to our left, give me a couple of waterfalls. And out by the furthest one, you can see a bunch of hippos. And the water down. Those are Nile hippos. They're going to be about 5,000 pounds. Rhubarb hippos called a boat. Despite spending most of the time in the water, hippos don't swim. Well, they can't swim. They're not very good. Out to our left, you got some now crocodiles. Well, you can see a couple of them. Now crocodiles are the largest type of crocodile in Africa. They'll be about 15 to 20 feet long and weigh about 500 pounds. Well, they do have a very impressive bite force. They can actually be pretty gentle if they're at certain times. Like when they lay eggs, if it comes time to hatch eggs, they roll those eggs around and around. It's going to help the hatching process along. They're still really gentle. When we do that, those are their little baby crocodile on the side. We're approaching our next stop, which is going to be the savannah. Great indicator of that is coming up on our right. It's going to be a big baobab tree. Baobab trees remain leafless for 9 months of the year, so it looks like they've got roots where the branches should be, giving them the nickname the upside down tree. But the reason they remain leafless for so long is to conserve water. All that water gets stored in that really big thick trunk that it has. So during the dry season, rhinos, elephants, and other animals can pierce that trunk and get the water out. And that gives it the nickname the Tree of Life. It's basically a great big water bottle for a lot of the animals out here on the savannah. First animals out, well, there's a couple of animals I can see out on the side here. Some of them coming up on our right here. A bunch of great animals. Those are wildebeest. Wildebeest, they have got another name they go by, and that's gnu, spelled G-N-U. They get that name from a rather nasally noise they make. It sounds just like gnu. So kind of like how a cow will go moo. Again, the wildebeest, they just go moo. There's quite a few giraffes that we can actually see. A little bit farther out there to our right, those are all Maasai giraffes. You know that because of their patterns. It's a little bit more jagged and messy than other types of giraffes. But we'll talk more about the giraffes as we can kind of make our way around those two. For now, I saw our next animal coming up on our left. It's off through the bushes. So inside their little cage structure, got some African painted dogs. African painted dogs are the most successful hunters in all of Africa. They're so successful because they hunt in packs and they have really good teamwork and communication when they're out hunting. And although they are part of the canine family, they actually differ from most of that family in a number of ways. Mainly is that they don't really bark, howl. Instead, they chirp. Make a rather chirpy sound. Out to our left, got some sable antelope. Dark brown animals with long skin curved horns. Sable antelope are the emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Very territorial, protective of their young, just to protect all the animals we have out here. Of course, there's this giraffe. First giraffe that we're kind of getting a real good look at. Giraffes are the tallest land animal in the world, about 18 to 20 feet tall. A group of giraffes is called a tower. Rather fitting name, if you ask me. haven't talked about yet. It's out to our left. That's an eland. It's that really large tan-colored antelope. Elands are the second largest antelope in the world, only second to the greater eland, which is really another type of eland. Elands like that one over there, they're going to be about 6 feet tall. They can still jump about 6 feet high from a standing position, so they're pretty excellent jumpers, despite being absolutely massive. Look like we have found some more of the wildebeest, some more giraffes, another eland. Well, actually, it looks like the one that we saw before is kind of coming over this way. Giraffes are going to be found eating up to about 16 to 20 hours of the day. It's pretty much all they do, is they just eat. Because of that, their tongues have developed to be a rather dark purple color, and that dark coloration helps prevent getting a sunburn on their tongue. We've got a couple more animals right here around the corner. There's a couple of zebras. Also behind the wildebeest out to our right, you can see a couple of springboks. It's the smaller antelopes. I really like the springboks. I think they look like little s'mores. They're in the top 10 fastest land animals in the world, so they're pretty fast for their size. But these are Hartman's mountain zebras we're coming up on. You know that because the stripes on their backsides are a little bit thicker, a little bit more spaced out than the rest of their stripes. A group of zebras is called a dazzle. They are quite dazzling. It does look like we're not playing follow the leader. Next animal is going to be a rather large one. Sometimes people call it the bulldozer of Africa. That is going to be the African elephant. African elephants. Well, I guess I'll ask. Can anyone tell me how I know that's an African elephant? It's because we're in Africa. So their ears, that is a great answer as well. I'll talk about that in a second. So like we just saw, they kind of threw dirt on itself. Elephants have really sensitive skin. They use dirt and mud as a natural sunscreen. They like to make sure they're all nice and covered. They really do not like to get a sunburn. Going back to those ears, someone kind of said their ears is a great way of identifying what type of elephant it is. And that's a great answer, like I said before. Their ears are very large, vaguely shaped like the continent of Africa. Those ears are also going to be packed with blood vessels. So whenever you see them flapping their ears around, it's just their way of cooling off the blood in their ears. And then the blood will go to the rest of the elephant, and it'll cool off the rest of the elephant up to about 15 degrees Fahrenheit. One might say they've got some pretty good ear conditioning. African elephants like that one we saw, males like the one we saw right there, they're going to be about 13,000 pounds. Which for reference, that's more than 2 of these trucks that we're riding on with no people in them. Wow. Females are a little bit lighter, they're going to be about 8,000 pounds. They are the largest weight animals in the world. Looks like we're coming up on, so you can see some tusk marks on the right, the clay here. So a bunch of red clay. Elephant on our left. So elephants like to use their tusks to break up the clay that we saw back there. They like to do that because they like to eat it. That sounds a little weird, the elephants eat the clay, but the clay offers some minerals and nutrients that the rest of their diet doesn't. So it's kind of like how we might take a multivitamin, something like that. Oh, if y'all look on your left, just kind of barely over the bushes, you can see a little baby elephant. That elephant right there looks to be about 1.5 years old. Needs to be somewhere a year to maybe 2 years old, something like that. Elephant pregnancies are going to be about 18 to 22 months long. It's a very long time. Pretty much during that entire time, it can get pretty complicated just due to the size of elephants. So whenever a baby elephant is born, it's a very big deal. It's very important. Another one of the elands over here. Just around the river bend, we've got some flamingos. These are going to be greater flamingos. They're the largest type of flamingo in the world. They're also the lightest pink colored flamingo. They get their pink coloration from their diet of fried shrimp. Specifically, it's beta carotene inside the shrimp that gives them that pink coloration. They're actually hatched gray. And over time, as they eat more shrimp, they get more pink.
Bowling for buzzards.
It takes about 2 years for them to lose their gray coloration to reach their full pink potential. And a group of flamingos is called a flamboyance. It's pretty fun. Looks like we've made it to a new part of the savannah, which is the mud pits or the mud wallows. There's a big pit of mud out in front of us. Just past the mud, we've got some rhinos. Earlier in the forest, we saw the black rhino, and I said a couple of things about the black rhino. I said one, that they were smaller than the other type of rhino that lives in Africa. And I also said that they were solitary animals. As you can see, those rhinos out to our left, they seem to be hanging out just fine. Again, that's a good indicator that they're white rhinos, which is the other type of rhino that again lives in Africa. White rhinos are going to be about 5,000 pounds. They can still run up to about let's try that again. They can run up to about 35 miles an hour. In order to run that fast, they do have to gallop, which means at one point when they're running, all 4 feet are going to be off the ground. Which is pretty impressive that they can get all 5,000 pounds of themselves into the air. Also, a group of rhinos is called a crash. These guys are social, they hang out in groups. Got some cheetahs out to our left. See them laying down right in the middle there.
They're in the middle. There's 4 of them.
Cheetahs are the fastest land animal in the world. They can go 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds. Running that fast, they use their very long tails to help steer themselves and keep their balance when they're making those sharp turns. Not very many cats use their tails to kind of keep their balance like cheetahs do. It's more of like a very common thing to find in rodents, not necessarily in cats. Out to our left, and up on the rocks up there, there's a lion. So lions, they like to rest up to about 16 to 20 hours of the day. They like to consume consider a threat or even when they really need it, like when they're out hunting and protecting themselves. It's going to be the females who do the hunting out at night, and the males who got to hang back and protect the territory. Lions' eyesight is actually about as good as ours during the day. As soon as nightfall comes, their eyesight gets to be about 6 times better than ours. They're really excellent night vision. So the lions roar can be heard up to about 5 miles away. They use their roars to keep track of everyone in the pride. The group of lions is called the pride. About 2 dozen chicken eggs. Those ostrich eggs are actually really strong and durable. The average adult human can stand on one of those eggs. It won't break, and it won't even crack. Looks like we've been to a new part of Savannah, which is the Gaudy Glen. It's home to our Morton's Post, as well as some Nigerian dwarf goats. Now, these dwarf goats are a rather playful bunch. Like to climb over everything, including each other, headbutt each other, chase each other around. That playful behavior is going to be their way of establishing their hierarchy, or in other words, their way of determining who's boss around these parts. Playful goat is going to be the one who's in charge. It does look like we're heading back to the village now. I hope you guys enjoyed our journey out there on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve, and I hope you guys were rather inspired by all the amazing animals we saw. We here at Animal Kingdom are really big on conservation. As Walt Disney once said, conservation isn't just the business of a few people. It's a matter that concerns all of us. I think I really want to help out, conserve our planet and all the inhabitants on it. A great way of doing that is by looking for and purchasing products that are friendly to the environment. It could be notebooks made of recycled paper, maybe if you're out school shopping. As far as grocery shopping, you look for organic foods. Organic foods use less pesticides, which decrease pollution and soil erosion. Organic food don't just use less energy to grow. It's a more efficient option. Pass through the gates right there. We have officially arrived back at the village just a little bit. We're going to be approaching some docks. That being said, I'm actually not going to drop you guys off right here. We're going to keep on making our way through. I'm going to drop you guys off back up where I picked you up. So we got just a few more minutes here on the truck. Give me just 1 second. Safari 2 is John, Lake 3 Safari 2. jog. Showtime, 22 minutes, 11 seconds. Trucks right here to get loaded, and then we'll be back up at the dock that I picked you guys up on. We'll get you going on the way. Now is a great time to double check the roads, make sure you have everything you brought on board. If there's any wilderness explorers on board, y'all been riding the Simba 1. That Simba like the lion, 1 like the number. We don't like to say goodbye here at Rowan Bay. It seems far too sad and far too final. So instead we say Wa Harini, which is a Swahili phrase and it means to go well. So Wa Harini, friends. Go well. Go wild. Go drink some water. It's pretty hot out. It's important to stay out of it.